Okay, initial start. We're warming up the 410. All right, first start and initial warm up of the 410. And we'll get the first pull after we get warmed up. Oil temperature and water temp is already there, but we need oil temp. Hey everybody, this is Carl Wine. Got the 410 cubic inch 409 4-inch stroke with a 40 over to 410. And it is on the dyno. It's much easier to do a dyno with a carburetor, so I was able to fit my single plane manifold, and you see that the LT4 gasket it pokes out a little bit, but it's sealing on the flange well enough. And hopefully it's 600 plus horsepower because it has really, really good heads ported by M&M, the guys that do that next gen block. The owner of these AFR 210 heads had them port these heads. So depending on how good they port and what they flow and how the carburetor does, we'll see what the power is. Hoping for the best. I mean, so far so good. Okay, that's 106. 99 plus 113 divided by 2 is 106 intake center line. Cam card says Cam card says 107. It's as close as you can get these timing sets. So if I were... Oh, intake center line, yeah, is coming in, I guess, early. So it's advanced 1 degree. Hey, some notes, if you got some AFR heads or extra big valve springs, there's always a few things you got to know. 12-point head bolts are the best. They give you better socket clearance, and look at how close those springs are. All right, so I don't have a normal washer in there. I have a smaller washer. The others have the normal size washer. Jessel shaft rockers arrived. Now I have the heads installed, and next I'm going to put the Jessel shaft rockers on or fit them. Get the valve tip height or the rocker tip height. Hey everybody, I'm working on the 409 stroker, a little bit at a time, but if you get a Callie's Magnum crankshaft, realize that like a standard length crankshaft bolt, which I had to put back, for whatever reason, I don't know exactly why, but Callie's puts, this will not engage the threads. They bore the end of the nose and they start the threads deeper in there, and so a normal crank bolt doesn't even begin to thread. You're going to need a longer crank bolt, which they don't make. You don't want to just get a piece of hardware from the hardware store. Callie's has always made a stud, this part number. I get it from Summit, and I already opened it up. But dual use with this thing, though, it'll act as your hub installing stud. So threads are engaged right there, and you use this for your bolt for tightening it down. So on the 409 stroker, a longer stud is needed. These are about $45. So they're not cheap, but you got to pay for that too. So it's a bit more than a normal ARP stud. It's a bit more pricey than an ARP crankshaft bolt. Hey everybody, Carl L1 here, L1 Engines. I'm going to show you how this is a quick tech tip. I'm going to show you how I install a press-in oil pump pickup. It's not with professional tools, but it's my technique, and I do use a tool that is readily available, and you can buy this. I'll put a part number. All right, step one, take the spring, the pressure release spring, out of the oil pump, and because step two is going to be to heat this tube. And then step three will be press it on with that tool there. It's hammer it on with that tool. Step four will be put the pressure release spring back in. All right, so now the more gritty details. I already have this pump bolted in, so I'm just gonna take this part off of it. Take this off so that I can get the relief spring out. Make sure you don't strip these bolts. They're not in there real tight. I think I have one size too small. I got a T27. Trying with a T. Yep, it was one size too small. T30. This is a Melling Sharp Tooth 10554. So that basically just means that it's 3/4 inch pickup tube. You always want to get that, not the 5/8, and it's high pressure spring, and it's standard volume. All right, so this engine is assembled. Take care not to lose these bolts into the engine, so you have to retrieve them. Yes, I could take the pump off, but I'm not going to. when I put these bolts back in, I'm going to put blue Loctite on them. You don't really have to, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Keep debris and dust out of this stuff. That is the high pressure spring. So I don't want to, I just started, I learned my lesson. I just had a pump where I heated it up, pressed it on, and then it was 10 pounds less than it should have been on the dyno. And I blame that on heating up that spring a little too much, and then it takes the temper away, and it takes sort of the tension away a little bit. It doesn't always happen, but it happened one time to me, I do believe. So I'm doing this over the crack in the table so that I can press this, hammer this out straight down there. Maybe it's ready to come out right here, but I want to make sure I don't scratch this surface. Where's my hammer? Okay, came up. Coming out a little more. It just goes in, yeah. And that's all I have. Now I'm going to have to get vice grips and pull this and make sure the spring doesn't go flying. Okay. This one didn't have a spot. You just hammer onto that. That's basically it. You clean it up, make sure there's no scratches, and clean it up. I'm gonna go with the parts washer. All right, it's swapped out. I never RTV on the pan side ever, and the goal, unless the darn thing will not make a seal. But recently they've always made a seal. If you RTV on the half moon front and back on the engine side, the gasket will stay, and you can later, like after a dyno or after a year, and take the engine out, this pan will come off without a big mess of stuck RTV. It makes life so much nicer. So I always try to do that. And I can't remember the last pan that leaked. Even the cess pan used to, when it had a thin rail, it was hard to get it to seal good. But now with the thick billet rail, it's nice and firm against the oil pan gasket, and it actually never leaks. Maybe sometimes later in a hard life it'll leak at this area here. That's where you'd have to put RTV on the pan side. So the 409 oil pan gasket is on. It's the my design, or in partnership with Steph's. And basically my differences are it's squared off here, so you can put a bigger oil pump if you want to, that has like a Titan oil pump. And this is the starter side, but it still fits all starters. It fits headers. It's a big old deep sump and big area so that it can take the windage, it can take air, and not, say, kind of pound against the oil as much. The oil is further away from the engine, from the rotating assembly. Here's my oil level sight glass. That'll be, if 5 quarts are in here and the engine's running, that'll be right in the middle. And this is for a temperature sensor if you want. This is nice oil pan drain, which is at the it's very, very low area. It doesn't even have a lip. So it won't so all the oil will pour out because this is lower than the bottom of the pan, right? Even maybe a little higher than this protector here. These two protectors of road crash, but this is a good, strong, sturdy bung, actually. So the stroker notches, that's why there's only a few bolts. And this clearance here for center link and steering. Some aftermarket Camaros come really close to touching the aftermarket, I guess it's a K member. But the way to, if it does, then you just add some shims to your motor mounts, and that'll get it up a little higher. That 1/4 inch that you need, let's say. So that's it, the Steph's oil pan. No, not yet. Now ready. Ready now.
Okay.
Yeah, right off the bat. And of course, if it doesn't seem to like getting up to 6,500, we'll pull abort. I saw like 13.1 air fuel
Yeah, it was.
sucking
I mean,
the.
it was fine, but it was. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice and flat all the way through the whole thing. I was watching that.
Oh, good,
Oil
good.
pressure, and probably watch everything. So I didn't watch anything.
Yeah. So 589. All right, I am ready. Looked pretty normal, didn't it? I wasn't looking at air fuel this time.
It was up there, maybe even a little bit higher than it was before. Maybe we should. I don't know. Yeah, 601. You got your 600.
Oh, okay, good. At least we got that. All right, this is, we did the second pull and we're just gonna try to add more fuel in the carburetor jetting. In the meantime, I was just looking at oil or under the valve covers. It looks nice. Just one valve cover. I didn't look at air fuel. I have no idea.
It was somewhere around 13.2. It seemed a little less, but it was still,
Yeah.
it was still in the
And we'll-
13s.
We'll be able to see the average. We found it.
602.
Yeah, 602.
Wait a minute here. You picked up like crazy. Look at the average.
For average?
Wait a minute. Where did it pick up? Look at the average.
It's like 8 average.
Where
8,
did
no,
it-
8, 9, 10.
Did it pick up low? Where did it pick up?
Probably just all.
I mean, it didn't pick up that much up high.
What about all this mid? There's 10 more there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like the extra fuel right in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in here.
Looked like it ran just like all the other times. Yeah. Pretty nice. I saw the 13.1, 13.1, then 13.0.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a good one, but I mean, I think it's a little bit better.
Let's see. 487 average.
489.
489, so 2 more.
Yeah, it's like we're grasping at straws now.
Yeah.
It's like,
So we're there.
we're 603 for a high.
We are done because it went up average like 1 horsepower. Right? This was 35. This was maybe 40.